Ethics is a very important part of human life. Without ethical practice, none can go forward. Without ethical practice, a man cannot be civilized, or rather than savage. To reflect it or to be reflected a civilized person, a man must be practicing ethical activities. Actually, ethics derived from religion, ethics derived from customs of society, norms of the society, or activities of the society. We are practicing ethical activities because to be civilized, because to be human being. But question may be raised, to which force will compel us to be ethical? And what source of force will compel us to be more ethical? Of course, our internal force. That means our inherent nature, our intrinsic value will enforce us to be ethical. Without enforcement of internal force, we cannot be perfect or proper ethical. On the other hand, when external force like legal power or fear of society will compel us to be ethical, actually it is not ethical activities or ethical practice. Think, behave gently is a part of ethical activities. But when a person will be practicing such ethical activities like behave gently with other people, need to be compelling from inside of this person, like habituation of this person. When a person will be habituated to be behaving gently, the person is actually practicing ethical activities, or ethical practice is performing by himself or herself properly. But when a person is practicing the ethical practice like behave gently in fear of disciplinary punishment, in fear of legal power, in fear of anything losing in his or her life, it will not be actually the ethical. In the disguise of ethical, it is actually unethical. It's like a mirage, and it seems to be the ethical, but actually not be ethical. To be an ethical man, it must be practicing from ourselves, from internal compassion of ourselves. Think the ethical practices in corporate bodies. In corporate culture, we need to be ethical. There are different components. Those are to be maintained in corporate culture, like not to taking or not to be involving with bribery, or not to be a favoritism or biasness will not be implicated in corporate life, or maintaining corporate social responsibility. In this modern world, the regulatory bodies are compelling us to be abiding with corporate social responsibilities, but need to be very much aware about that we will be practicing corporate social responsibilities because it need to be practicing in internal factor of corporate body. So the enforcement from external side to implement corporate social responsibility is not actual ethical, rather than it is mirage, and it is disguise of to be ethical but actually not ethical. When a corporate body itself will compel or itself will making practice regularly to perform is to be ethical. So, in personal life or in corporate life, when we will be practicing all ethical activities compelling from internal force, this is actually ethical. But when we'll be practicing ethical activities compelling from external force, will not be ethical. To be a perfect ethical person, will be doing all things compelling for our internal force, not fear of society, not fear of custom, not fear of disciplinary punishment, not fear of regulatory bodies. So be perfect ethical man. That is real life, and that will change ourselves, that will change our society, that will change our states.